Okay, so if you're anywhere near the world of cloud security, you've definitely heard the name Prisma Cloud. But what is it really? In the next few minutes, we're going to demystify this massive platform, break down exactly what it does, and help you figure out if it's the right tool for your job. Let's dive in.
You know this feeling, right? Anyone working with modern cloud infrastructure gets it. Your applications are this sprawling ecosystem of containers, serverless functions, and services, maybe across multiple clouds. The attack surface isn't just big, it's changing all the time. So where do you even begin to secure something like that?
Well, here's the crazy part. The threats are often deceptively simple. It's that one S3 bucket with the wrong permissions, a forgotten vulnerability in some open source library, or a user account that has way too many privileges. For an attacker, these aren't just little mistakes. They are big, wide open doors.
And that is the exact problem Prisma Cloud was built to solve. It's what the industry calls a CNAPP, or a Cloud-Native Application Protection Platform. But hey, forget the jargon for a second. The goal is simple: to create one single unified platform to secure the whole shebang, from the moment a developer writes the first line of code all the way to when it's running live in the cloud. So how in the world does one platform manage all of that? Well, the answer is in its architecture. And the easiest way to really get your head around Prisma Cloud is to understand its foundation, which is built on what they call 4 interconnected security pillars. Each one tackles a different piece of the puzzle.
First up is CSPM, which stands for Cloud Security Posture Management. Think of this pillar as the building inspector for your entire cloud environment. It's constantly walking the digital grounds, checking every window, every door, and the foundation itself to make sure there are no structural weaknesses, no policy violations, or risky setups. So in the real world, what's it doing? CSPM is diving deep into the nitty-gritty. It's checking things like your S3 bucket permissions, it's analyzing your IAM roles, making sure security groups aren't letting everyone in. It also acts like an automated compliance auditor, constantly checking your setup against major standards like PCI for payment data or HIPAA for healthcare info. It's a huge time saver. All right, next up, we've got pillar number 2, CWPP, or Cloud Workload Protection Platform. Now, if CSPM secures the infrastructure, the building itself, then CWPP secures what's happening inside it. We're talking about your active, running code, your containers, your Kubernetes pods, your serverless functions.
This is where the platform goes from being a building inspector to a full-on security guard. See, CWPP isn't just scanning for vulnerabilities before you deploy. It's providing active runtime defense. That means it is on duty 24/7, watching for any strange behavior, monitoring for unexpected file changes, and actively blocking threats based on a zero-trust mindset of never trust, always verify.
Pillar 3 is all about Cloud Network Security, or CNS. This part focuses entirely on the communication that's happening between your cloud resources. It's designed to light up what we call east-west traffic, the internal chatter between your applications. This is a classic blind spot for security teams. Once an attacker gets in, they can often move around freely, and traditional defenses at the edge won't even see them. So CNS is all about giving you control and intelligence over that internal network. It lets you do things like microsegmentation, which is kind of like building digital walls between your applications so a breach in one can't just spread everywhere. It also uses machine learning to figure out what normal traffic looks like, so it can immediately flag anything weird that might be an attack in progress.
And that brings us to the 4th and final pillar. And honestly, this one might just be the most critical of them all: CIEM, which is Cloud Infrastructure Entitlement Management. This is all about one thing: who can do what. In the cloud, permissions are literally the keys to the kingdom, and CIEM's entire job is to find and get rid of risky sets of keys before they end up in the wrong hands.
It is laser-focused on hunting down these ticking time bombs in your permissions. We're talking about things like IAM roles that are way too powerful, these so-called toxic combinations of permissions that could let an attacker escalate their privileges, and risky access between different cloud accounts. This intense focus on identity is without a doubt one of Prisma Cloud's biggest strengths in the market. So, there you have it. Those are the 4 pillars: posture, workloads, network, and identity. But the real power of the platform, where it all comes together, is how it applies these pillars across the entire application lifecycle. This is what shifting security left is all about, moving from an afterthought to a continuous process, from code all the way to cloud. This is that shift left philosophy in action, right? You're finding and fixing problems as early as humanly possible.
So in the blue build phase, it's scanning your code and container images for issues before they're ever even checked in. Then, in the green deploy phase, it acts like a bouncer at the door, blocking risky deployments from ever getting into production. And finally, in the red runtime phase, it's that 24/7 security guard, using all those CWPP and CNS capabilities we talked about to protect live apps from active threats.
Okay, so we get what Prisma Cloud is and how it works. But let's be real, no tool exists in a vacuum. To really understand where it fits, we've got to see how it stacks up against some of the other major players out there in the cloud security space.
And this comparison tells a really clear story. Prisma Cloud is a powerful all-arounder, no doubt, with huge strengths in CSPM and CIEM. But it's not the best at everything. If your absolute #1 priority is runtime container defense, a specialist tool like Aqua often has an edge. If you need the deepest possible cloud visibility and attack path analysis, Wiz is often seen as the market leader there. The key takeaway is that the best tool really depends on what your specific needs are.
This really brings us to the core trade-off with Prisma Cloud. Its biggest pro is its incredible breadth. I mean, it's a single platform that covers almost every angle of cloud security. The cons? Well, all that power comes with a pretty high price tag and a steep learning curve. And like we just saw, while it's good at runtime protection, it might not be quite as deep as a tool that only does that one thing.
So with all of that in mind, we finally get to the bottom line, the big question. Is Prisma Cloud actually the right choice for you?
Let's be blunt. Given its cost and its complexity, Prisma Cloud is squarely aimed at mid to large enterprises. It's really built for organizations that are all in on a cloud-native architecture and desperately need a single, powerful platform to manage security and compliance across their whole sprawling environment.
If you're going to remember just one thing from all this, let it be this quote right here. At its heart, Prisma Cloud is about providing full-stack security for modern cloud-native environments. It's designed to protect everything from the ground up, from the infrastructure to the application code itself.
And that's our 5-minute breakdown of Prisma Cloud. It really leaves us with one final crucial question to think about, tying all the way back to those 4 pillars we talked about. It's not just, is your cloud secure, but is its security built on a truly solid, multi-layered foundation? Thanks for joining us.